that way?
No, and I never studied nothing. I never been to school, like 0 day.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to another exciting episode of RXMuscle Spotlight. I know you guys are going to enjoy today's story. I did. I can't even believe it. It's a great success story. As you know, I'm Dave Palumbo, and we're here today with Ali Bilal, who is a multiple men's physique champion, going to the Olympia as one of the favorites. He's got a great story. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dave. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Now you're coming all the way from, you're in Denmark right now, right?
Yeah, I'm living in Denmark right now, I guess.
Yeah. The reason I have to ask you that is because you've lived so many different places that it's important to figure out where you are at the very moment in time, right?
Exactly. Sometimes I'm confused as well. I'm like, sometimes, wake up like, oh, where am I?
You have such a good story. And first of all, I want to tell people, he speaks 7 languages. Because I'm like, you speak English very well. Where'd you learn it? He's like, I learned it from my wife 3 years ago. You speak better than most people. Yeah. How do you have such a knack for languages?
I don't know. I think when you're in need, you don't have an option. You learn the language. Like when I got to know my wife, she didn't speak Dutch. I didn't speak Danish. So we were like 24/7 together. It was COVID. So we had to communicate somehow, and we learned every time. And she always used to make fun of me when I said something wrong. So, and then I corrected the next time. I was like, I don't want her to make fun of me. So that's where we learned and got better and better.
Did you study, did you go online and study, or you just talked to her and learned it that way?
No, and I never studied nothing. I never been to school, like 0 day.
No, he's not kidding. He's never gone to school. You've never gone to even 1 day of school.
No,
how'd you get away with that?
Because in Afghanistan, we didn't have schools, when
tell us what it was like growing up. Tell us what it was like growing up. Sorry.
So I grew up in a very small village in Afghanistan called Maidan Shah, in the province of Maidan Shah.
What year was that?
So really it was when I was born. So since I was born.
What year?
So no idea. I'm 29 now, so just calculate.
You don't even know what year you were. How do you fill it out on your applications?
Because we don't even I'm born in 1994. So
okay, all right, there we go.
I'm born in 1994. So
did you guys have birth certificates?
Yeah, I found a paper actually, because it was really difficult to find like a birth certificate,
Right.
But I found a paper that said because we have to register there in a mosque, when you get your name and stuff.
Right.
But I was born at home, not in a hospital.
Wow.
We don't have these kind of facilities.
Miracle.
So growing up in a small village was really one of the toughest places in Afghanistan, really a war zone.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to see Americans every week, coming there with all the tanks and stuff like that.
Right.
So and every time they brought some tents as a school, to the UN had some tents for us. So when they brought the tents and they gave us books, the next day someone burned the tent, So it was not allowed from Taliban for us to study the devil books, they call it.
Oh, really? So they didn't want you to be educated.
Yeah. So we're not allowed to study anything. So we couldn't get manipulated,
So,
And
so
that was
they
like the
thought
whole.
that, hold on, they thought that if you learned how to read and write and read the history books, that you would be
Yeah,
brainwashed into thinking that America was good. Is that what it was?
exactly. And then you will learn different. I don't know what the mindset was for the thought,
Right.
but that they were always burn these tents, So we never really went there, like, because no
Right.
one really like wanted to go there. So I never really went to school. Growing up, went to mosque, learned all about Islam and religion, stuff like
Right.
that. So that was not really like a school, And at the age of 13, I left the country because I was like, this is not where I want to grow up. I like grow old, I saw
Did you
people.
leave with your
Yeah.
family or you left alone?
Just one day, 4 in the morning, I woke up and I'm like, I'm gone, I just left alone. I didn't told anyone. I didn't told my mom. I didn't told anyone. I just
Really?
walked. I just walked to the street. I took the first, like this, hang behind the truck. You could trade and I just went to the big city. From there, I just walked and took another bus.
Let me hold on. Stop for a second. You were 13 years old, right?
I was 13 years old. Yeah.
What gave you the audacity to think that you could just walk out of that village at 13 years old, all by yourself, and make it? You had no money,
I
right?
think, yes, exactly. But I think if there's anyone watching that has been to Afghanistan as a soldier, and being 13 in Afghanistan is not being 13 in Europe or in America. We like being 13 in Afghanistan is like, you can compare that to someone that is 25 in Europe.
Wow.
Because you grow up so early, you don't have that childhood, you don't have that, like, the video game phase and all this, like,
Right.
being a kid. I never been really a kid, like started to work when I was like, I think 5-6 years old. I tried to help my dad. So you grow up pretty early. You're like much mature at the age of 13. It's not the same like when I see
Right.
13 years old kids here. You cannot even talk to them. You have to be so careful what you say in
Right.
front of them and what
Yeah.
you do. So it's different growing up over there. It's a different 13 years old than being in Europe or in the US.
Yeah, but weren't you like worried that like your parents would worry about you and think you were killed or something like that, or?
Sometimes I thought about them, but I had to. My mom would never let me go, so I just had to get away from her because it's always difficult to let your kids go. And you will not believe it. The first time I talked to my mom, it was I think after 4 years later, I talked to my
Right.
mom.
Oh my God! Did she think you were dead?
I don't know what she was. She cried like the first 10 minutes, and it was like the craziest. That yeah, she couldn't believe that.
Oh, what'd you do? How'd you contact her?
Yeah, I just took. I called her. Like I called a guy from the city. He went. He took a bus to the village, and from
Wow.
there he waited, and then he brought my mom to the other village because we didn't have a signal. We don't have the phone there.
Right.
Yeah, it was such a complicated thing. So I had to like wait like a whole day to talk to her, and then when I talked, it was like, I actually forgot how she sounded. After 4 years.
Wow. And did she say like I thought you were dead and that I never thought I'd hear from
Yeah,
you
of
and that kind
course.
of stuff?
Everyone thought I was dead because
Right.
there's so
Where
many
were you
kids
at this point?
disappearing.
Yeah.
I was in Greece.
All right. So let's go back. You're 13. You leave. You go to the main city in Afghanistan. Tell us what happened from there.
I took a bus from there to Pakistan to the border. From there, I took another bus to another city, to like a city called Peshawar. So I met some people in the bus, and they said like they have some connections in Pakistan. They have a family, and they can get me some kind of job. So I found a work, at the market outside.
Right.
I think I worked there like for 3 months, collected some money, went to
You,
Karachi, is
you were
another
like
city in
Aladdin.
Pakistan.
You were like
Yeah,
Aladdin from the movie.
exactly. So I collected some money, went to Iran, crossed the border, and then the crazy thing is, always when you're walking, you will think it sounds so difficult and it sounds so crazy when you think about it. Just going somewhere, but when you're doing it, you always meet people that they have the same goal, and you always make friends, and you find opportunities. When you're doing it. So
Right.
I met people. They were also going to Iran, and they were going to work in construction. So I went to work with them. I think I worked with them for like 4 or 5 months. I collected some money. I went to Turkey. I
Right.
work in Turkey. I work in a jeans factory. So yeah, from there I went to with the boat. I went to
hold on. Let me
Greece.
stop you for what. Let me stop you for 1 second, because you never went to school. Did you know how to read and write from religious classes or no?
No.
No,
I knew how to read. I knew how to read Arabic, so that was the only thing.
Okay,
but in all these countries, you cannot. There's not no Arabic.
So how did you find out anything if you can't read?
Oh, just that direction. But the thing is, you always find people. When you're on that, when you have that goal, I was always like in a group of 20, 30, like 20 people, 10 to 20 people. There was always other guys that were going the same way.
Right.
So we were always like a big group, and it was always so much help for me because I was the youngest one always. So everyone helped me, everyone give me food, this, that, So it was some way it was good to be young here.
Right. So they were watching out for you, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because they're all countrymen, like a lot of people from Afghanistan, most of them, So they always like helped me on the way because I was the only youngest guy, in the whole group.
Now, at this point, so I think where are we? Are we in Greece yet, or did you get to Greece?
So I got to Greece, and then I think I was 6 months in jail in Greece.
For what?
A city called Alexandroupolis. I crossed the border like illegally, but they didn't have a place in the refugee camp, so they put us in jail instead. They say you have to wait here because I was under 18. European law, you cannot be outside without any like how they call it, tutor. Right. So they told us to wait in jail, and then they will find us someone like a parent kind of thing, like someone who can take care of us and take us to a camp. Right. Because there was no more at that time. There was such a refugee crisis in Europe. So Greece, like all the camps were full. So they took us instead to jail. So I waited like 6 months in jail. And then when I got out,
how are you dealing with this emotionally and mentally? It had to be very depressing, I would imagine. Or was it, or you just
it was really like it gave me so much energy, like really it had honestly, and it gets depressing now, The more comfort that I get in life, the better my life gets, the more difficult it gets. All the memories come back. Right. I never really thought about it when I was doing it. And I really, like I had a goal, every time I crossed the border, I went into a better country. The building looked better, the cars looked better, the road looked better. Every time I crossed the country, there was more money, there was a better, it motivated me. And when I came to Greece for the first time, I saw girls in skirts, like in dresses. I was like, wow.
Yeah, because everyone's covered up in all the Muslim countries, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. For the first time I saw like legs, I was like, wow, man, I was a kid, like, whoa, shit.
Yeah. Right.
So all these things, and it was like every time you see something new, and I don't think you can book any trip and you can see so many things for the first time in your life. So this was just like a free adventure. But yeah, when you think about it, when you think about it, when I go back now, when I think about it, it really is difficult sometimes, like it hits me like back. But I never thought about it when I was doing it.
Right. Yeah, because you never know. You never know. I always talk to people who were poor when they were kids. They're like, we didn't know we were poor.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't feel it.
Around us was poor.
Yeah, you are in the moment. You don't feel it. You're doing it. But when you have everything and you sit back and you think about it, you really get depressed.
Yeah. So at this point, like, what are you eating? Are you just eating like the cheapest foods you can get, or how are you feeding yourself at this point?
Because I always found a job. Actually, when I was in Pakistan, I had to work.
What were you getting paid? Are you getting paid a lot of money or nothing?
Just like peanuts. Just you get free food. You go. They always they treat you like like an extra. You always go bring tea and you bring this. You run there. And then at the end of the day, they give you someday they give you $1, some they give you half. So it depends on how good the day was.
Wow. What a crazy thing.
But for me, it was not to make money. It was just to like survive and have food. Get to know the people and find the right people to go with to the next country.
So you're in Greece now. What are you doing? What do you do in Greece? And how old were you at this point?
So I think when I was in Greece, I was 15 years old when I arrived in Greece, and I got 15. I was 6 months in jail. So when I got out, I was 15,
Right.
and I worked in Greece. It was like, I was in the orange plants, where they cut oranges. So I worked there
Okay.
the season, and then I did the olives, and we did the onion season. In
Oh,
Greece, you
wow.
have so many seasons, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
going actually then next week. I'm going there Tuesday.
How
I'm
long
going
did
for
you live there
2 weeks.
for?
I lived there like almost 8 months, a year almost.
Oh, okay. That's a long time for you. Yeah.
It's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful country. It's
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
very friendly people, like really friendly people. Like one of the most beautiful country. People are so religious and they're so nice,
Right.
So yeah, I lived there and I worked there, and then from there I took a truck. I went under the truck, where they put the extra tire.
Yeah.
Where they
Oh, you
put the
snuck
extra
under
tire.
there? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Like 50 times I tried that. Every time the dogs took me out at the border, the truck then goes in the ferry because there's the sea
Right.
between Greece and Italy. So
Right.
I jump in that thing, and then I would go under that. The truck will drive, and then at the border, the dogs will take us out every time.
Well, so what? Let me ask you a question. Why did you want to leave Greece? It sounds like Greece was beautiful.
There was no money. There was no like you couldn't get like passports, and like it was very
Uh,
difficult to get like papers. I didn't want to be a refugee the rest of my life.
right. What was your goal? Was there a specific country you were trying to figure out to go to?
My plan was just to get like papers, like documents, so I could go back
Right.
and visit my family one day, because I
Oh,
didn't
I
want to
see.
last like, it
Right.
was a long time since I saw my mom. So that
Right.
was my
Right.
goal. And then in Greece, there were so many other guys that they had the same plan. They were going to Europe and they had
Mm,
families over here. So they would call them
gotcha.
and they would tell them which country was a good country to stay in. And most of them said like Belgium was a good place and Germany was a good place to get papers and
Yeah.
documents. So
Gotcha.
that's why I decided to go to Belgium.
Okay. So how did you finally get out of there? Under the car, like you said?
No. I went inside the truck. So what I did, I bought a small Gillette. I was telling you guys a trick. On the top of the truck is like a fabric, right?
Yeah.
So what we did, we had this big tape and a small Gillette, like to cut the fabric. So on top
Right.
we will cut the fabric, we'll jump in, and from down we will just tape it. So
Oh,
they couldn't see it on the cameras that it was cut from the top. So
wow.
and sometimes we would jump in and you would see the craziest thing lying in, and you're like, shit, I don't want to jump in this. So
How long was the trip inside the Jeep?
I think it was 14 hours. It was inside a big truck. So the truck will go inside a ferry, inside the
Right.
ship, and the ship will cross the sea. So I think 14 hours I stayed in there.
Did you bring food and water? How'd you survive?
No, nothing. No food, no
Wow.
water.
14. And were you worried that maybe it would take longer and you might die in there?
No. I was in Greece. I was in a boat in the middle of the ocean. I spent there 2 nights and 3 days without water, without food, in the middle of the ocean. We got into a boat, and the boat stopped working in the middle of the ocean. So and it was like the whole day. We stayed at 3 days and 2 nights.
Were you
No
concerned at
water,
that point?
no food.
Were you worried that you were going to die at that time?
Yeah, at some point we thought like a lot of people, they were like thinking what they had done wrong in their life, and like they were
Right.
thinking about all this, and I wish I can see my sister again, I wish I can see my
Right.
mother again.
Were
But
you like
you
all
get
dried out and parched and were you feeling the effects of the no water after a while?
after like the second day, it really, because it was so hot that day, it was like 40 degrees. It was really
Celsius.
really hot, and we were like I think we're 18, 19 people in the small boat. It was really hot. So yeah, at the end, I think after 2 days, people start talking shit and stuff like that.
Wow.
You got really bad, and some people start to really got really worse. So
Were you worried that people were going to start killing each other and eating them?
Nah, because we were in Europe, so I had hope. I thought someone
Yeah.
will come help us, and then the helicopter
Wow.
came, and I don't know how they found us. The helicopter came and they rescued us, all of us. Like the silver fall. So yeah, they rescue all
That's
of
a
us.
crazy story.
This was like nothing. I was in Iran, in the Sahara, when I was crossing the border from Pakistan. I think we spent like 14 days in the deserts, and
Wow.
we had only chickpeas and like I think like a 3 liter water. So
Holy mackerel.
we survived. We survived with that.
So
We
contest
left.
prep's not a big deal for you, obviously.
No, that's what I tell George. I'm like, I don't care. You tell me, don't drink water 5 days. I don't drink. I don't care.
You're like, this is a
and
breeze compared to what I
and
had to endure,
he's
man.
like you crazy. I was like, I don't care. He was so concerned. He was telling me like, you have to drink 50 ml water the last day. I said, I don't care if don't have to drink. He said it's gonna be very hard. I said, don't worry. I said,
All right,
don't worry,
so
man. Don't worry.
yeah, we're gonna get to your competition soon because I mean, your physique is incredible, and we're gonna show this physique in a minute and how you got to that point because this transformation is amazing. All right, so
That's a lot of cardio.
yeah, you leave Greece and you eventually make it to Amsterdam, right?
Italy, yeah. To Italy, yeah. So
So
first
Italy
comes
first.
Italy, yeah. Yeah. So I was in Italy. I think I slept 3 months in park. I was telling you that. So when I won
Tell that story. Good story.
competition. Yeah, it's a good story, but I don't have the medal here right now hanging somewhere. So I won
Okay.
my first pro show, my first qualification for Olympia. And it was in Rome, and right like in front of like the park where I used to sleep, there was a venue. I told my wife, yeah, we were sitting in a taxi and driving to that place, and I was like, holy shit. She was like, what's happened? I was like, you're not gonna believe it. She was like, what? I'm like, I used to sleep on this bench, like 3 months. And she was like, it's crazy. She couldn't believe it. I used to sleep on that bench in the park 3 months.
Unbelievable. Can you
Yeah,
believe it? Talk
three
about
months I
full
spent
circle.
there.
Talk
Yeah,
about going full circle. I mean,
and then I won.
unbelievable.
Like I went in there and I won the show. And you come out of the when you get your trophy, your medal, you come out. Everyone want to have a picture with you, and you are a star. And then
Yeah.
it just it hits you like it's crazy how much life can change. For someone if you just keep going.
Right.
So
Unbelievable.
yeah.
So you were in Italy for how long?
Yeah, I was there like 3.5, 4 months in Italy in total.
Right.
And then I went to France. I spent like a week or two in France. I really didn't like France. And then I
No.
went to Belgium and I stayed in Belgium. I really loved Belgium. Because Belgium is a very, very small country, is a center of Europe. It's actually a capital of Europe. And the good thing about Belgium is there's so much culture. There's so many mixed people. So you don't really feel like you're an outsider. You just feel like, a Belgian person can be anyone. So that
how many languages are you speaking at this point?
At that point, I learned all the countries I've been. I learned the language. So
did you really? Wow.
Yeah, I speak Persian, so the Iranian language perfectly. I speak Hindi perfectly. So the language of Pakistan, Urdu, that I speak too because I live there. So I speak my mother language, that's Pashto, and I speak Dutch. I learned Dutch. English I learn now. Danish, so it's
and
quite a bit of language.
And I said this to you. You speak perfectly. I mean, I would think you were speaking English for 20 years the way you speak.
Yeah, if you ask my wife, she will say a different story.
No, what? Yeah, well, because she's a professional. But when did you actually learn to read, or at what point?
Actually, when I think I was like 22, 23 years old, I really had, I wanted to learn and I wanted to read, because I had so much difficulties with reading. I could read the first 2 letters, but I couldn't finish, and it was really difficult. So I asked someone, a friend of mine, and he really helped me. I went there every 2 hours, every day 2 hours, and I learned from him. And now I can read a book. I can read a whole book in like in a week. I finish a book. I read like so many books every month.
What language do you read in though?
I try to read Dutch and English.
So you speak. I mean, you can write and read English then.
Yeah, English and Dutch. Yeah, both
Wow.
languages perfectly.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very impressive.
So,
and you didn't start until you were 22. That's unbelievable. Because
No,
children pick up language and reading easy, but adults don't. So that's.
But I had so much. Like when I do something, I really, I really love studying. Because I read like 4 books a month. At least now.
Is that to try to
help me?
Yeah, is that to get yourself up?
I also love reading. I also love reading. Like I read about nutrition, I read about training, I read about all these things, because I just want to keep up now. And my wife, she helped me a lot. She did she gave me in COVID time, she gave me every day 3-hour lecture. Every day. So she helped me a lot.
But
with
what's interesting? In today's society, no one reads anymore, because you can just go watch YouTube videos, yet you still forced yourself to learn to read, and you're still reading today, which is a testament to the fact that you want to educate yourself, because a lot of people are just lazy. They don't want to read anymore.
What I found out, things that has said have no value, things that is just said in YouTube, and everyone say a different thing, but thing that is written has a value, because it is proven. Otherwise, no one write it in a book, right? So it is proved. There's a facts that the only thing that's written on the book. There's only facts, and in YouTube, if you search about, let's say, anything, you will get 500 different opinions. Everyone would be saying different thing, and at the end you get confused. You don't know what to It's the same with competing, with prepping. Everyone has a different opinion how to do a peak week, how to do this. And when it's written and it's then it's fact. No one can just say their opinion. So that's why I like to.
So how did you get into working out?
I always really loved training, and it started from America. You'll not believe it. When I saw all these American soldiers coming to our village, and I would look at these biceps, I was like, I want to look like this one day. I want to get that big.
Yeah.
And I always liked to train. And when I came to Belgium, we got a weekly pass, where we could go a 2-time week pass. We could go to a free gym. We could choose. We could go to swimming pool. We could go to dancing. We could go to, there was football classes, anything. But I chose training gym. And I just started over there, and, I loved it from day one, because in the gym, everyone is same. It doesn't matter how you look or where you're from, or, it didn't matter, So whoever worked the hardest got the best result.
Right. When did you realize that you had a genetic predisposition to be good at the sport? I mean, did anyone come up to you and say, hey, you're pretty good. You should try to maybe get yourself on stage and compete?
Yeah, I went with a friend of mine to Madrid to watch his competition. It was a Musclemania competition, European Championships in Madrid. I went with him. He asked me you have to come with me. We're 7 friends, all group from Belgium. So we went, all of us to Madrid to support him. And then the day before competition, back then I used to work in construction, so I used to work really hard. And I also trained every day. So I was in pretty good shape. And when he saw my shape in the hotel room, he was like, man, you should try to compete. So I went to the supermarket. I bought the board short in the supermarket. Yeah, for $3 I bought for €3 I bought the board short in the supermarket. I competed that show. I won the overall. I won over my friend. I won the overall.
Did you even put a tan on or anything?
I did put a tan on, so I didn't do any peak weeks or anything, nothing.
You didn't even know, but did you know how to even do the walkout and the turns and all that stuff?
Yeah, my friend learned me the same. He said, you should try, man. You should just try. He said, you will win, because he was so tall. He was 1.90 meters, and I was short. So he was like, you have a shorter class. You should try. You will win your class, And I was like, man, let's give it a try. And he showed me how to pose, just 2 poses,
Right.
And we were talking about it, me and him, yesterday. I was calling with him, So it's crazy. And I went there. I bought the shorts for $3 I think I still have that shorts.
You should wear those. Those are lucky, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought that shorts and I just went on stage and I won the whole thing. I won my class and I won also the overall, because I always had the abs. I always had like a good front. So when I stood there, I had the good abs and stuff like. Yeah.
Plus, you were working construction too, so you were actually doing cardio all day long.
I was really working hard back then. I had like a 14 hours every day shift and. Working in construction. In the evening, I used to work in a restaurant, so I was always moving, and I also used to work and then still train, in between. So I was.
How were you eating? What was your diet like back then?
A big sandwich with Nutella in it. I used to eat like 4 of them a day. It's crazy, but I used to burn so much calories. It was crazy, because work like 14 hours a day.
So your protein source was Nutella.
Yeah, we buy the big French baguette and then we put a lot of Nutella in it. That gives us so much energy, because otherwise you cannot work so hard.
Right, but that was the nuts were your only protein source, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all the Nutella.
You were essentially a vegan for that show, yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh my God! Holy mackerel! Yeah. See, I always tell people when someone has good genetics, you might not know it until they actually start working out, but. Man, you can't compete with that. What a freak you are.
The crazy thing is, I have never been above 8% body fat.
No,
never in my life. Doesn't matter how much trash food I eat, how much I can eat Nutella 5 times a day. I just had it this morning too, like a lot of it. So I hope George don't listen to this. But
you got time for the Olympia still.
Yeah, but I can eat so much stuff. And I don't get my body fat down. Don't go like above. Max.
I'm like that too. Yeah, I'm like that too. Did you? At what point did you say to yourself, "All right, you know what? I won the show." Is that when you started actually paying?
Yeah. When I came back. Yeah, when I came back, the gym owner was like, "Hey, man, let me help you." So he did some. We did some shows, and I won the Belgium championships. I think I won in Elite Pro. I believe you can see the trophies here. Somewhere the medals.
You did that elite division for a while too. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. I was in elite, and I think I won like 15 pro cards in elite in 15 weeks.
Oh, did you?
So I won every week. Every week I went to competition, and I just made like a thing, because I found a sponsor, and they told me we're going to take care of your trips. I was like, perfect. I went to compete every weekend. I won pro card every weekend. I think I was number 1 on the world ranking in Elite Pro.
Yeah.
So I was like, every weekend I used to compete, and I won every show. And after that, I think I did like 30 shows.
So what made you decide to switch over to the IFBB Pro League?
Oh, yeah, when I found like a serious coach, and he was like, let's get serious, and I start to, I got a bit mass and stuff like that. So it was like, let me try in PC.
So you turned pro in 21, right? At the William Bonac Championship?
December 21, yes.
Yeah. And then you competed right after that, that January, right?
January, yes, in Saudi.
And you won, what'd you win, like 3 pro shows, including the Arnold?
I won 3 pro shows and the Honor Classic, yes. And
that's unbelievable.
Call out at Olympia. First call out at Olympia.
Unbelievable. but did you think like that you were dreaming or something like that? It had to feel like it wasn't real. It came too easy for you almost.
Honestly, and it was too easy, And the crazy thing was, when I won my first pro show in Italy, I was like, let me fucking compete again in Spain, I won there, I won again, and then I went to Portugal, I got second. I went to, Honor Classic, I won Honor Classic. I went to Olympia, first call out right away, because people used to talk about like Olympia top 10 is so elite, So when I got on this top first call out, I was like, holy shit, I need to go back home and really work. Because I thought European shows were not like really wow, like easy to win. But when I got top 10 at Olympia, it really motivated me. And then things happened, and I went a little bit backwards last year. I still qualified for Olympia, but and then we did again this year, and we did good, I think.
Unbelievable. Is that a picture of you when you were a kid?
Yeah, that's me in Afghanistan. You see my
Wow.
clothes, right? You see my clothes.
Yeah. Look at you. Yeah, wearing rags over there. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
all dirty. You see, we used to wear
Yeah.
like same clothes 1 year long.
You know what? When you look at that, does it make you get sad?
If I get sad for that,
You get sad when you look at that?
yeah, I think you know why? Because I never been a child. You know, I never got really a chance to be a child and to when I see kids here and the way they get treated and how they get treated. I never got all this, I never got the chance to go to school. I could have been a doctor, I could have been anything,
Sure.
but I never got the chance. And I think I'm going to study. Like George really motivated me. He got his PhD at a really late age, so I think I'm going to start to study after, I think in 2-3 years when my bodybuilding career stops. But I never got the chance to like study when I was a kid and go to normal school,
Sure.
college, university, and prove that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that really makes me sad sometimes, but it is life, and I'm still really, really grateful that I'm here, not there still,
Yeah.
Things could have been worse.
Yeah. You know what, Ali, though? Had you gone to through the school system, you wouldn't be the person you are today because your brain would have been brainwashed in a different direction. And you would never have been able to achieve what you did today or have the
No.
compassion for other people that you have because of what you went through. So I think everyone
Exactly,
has
yeah.
there's a plan for
Exactly,
everyone.
yeah.
God has a plan for everyone. And I think that
Exactly.
you're on the right course.
Yeah, when I see my friends here in Europe, they're born here, Europe, they're European citizens, they're Danish citizens. For me, my biggest goal always was like to get a passport, and they get born with a passport. So they don't have to think about a passport, they don't have to think about all these things.
Right.
And believe me, they're still so lost in life. They are like, they struggle so much about everything, and they all ask me like how lucky I am, and how I should be so grateful. I'm so lucky that I have all these things. I'm like, man, like, I'm not lucky. I'm just a little bit more motivated, and I worked really, really hard for all this.
Yeah.
Because when you have all of these things, you don't really think about it. But like,
Yeah.
just think about the normal passport. Like, I really waited like 10 years to get a passport. I couldn't
Wow.
go
Yeah.
anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't visit my mom
Right.
just because I
Are
didn't get a passport.
is your family still in Afghanistan?
No, they're in Pakistan now. I brought them to Pakistan.
Oh, you brought them to there.
Yeah. I bought them a house over there, so I brought them to
Oh,
Pakistan.
that's awesome. That's great.
But now we might go back to Afghanistan, because in Pakistan they're taking all the people out. So it's a bit difficult.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
such a headache. I bought them a house there. Now I have to sell that house and buy them another house in Afghanistan. But in Afghanistan now we also have Taliban. So it's difficult
Right.
for me to go there too. So it's a bit
Is
tricky.
it possible to get your family to where you are now?
No, there's so many rules. There's so many rules. You
Yeah.
can marry someone, bring your kids or something like that, but you cannot bring your mom and stuff like that. It's very difficult.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. How often do you see them now?
Once a year,
That's got to be tough.
just 2 weeks. Yeah, this year I didn't even have the time to go because of all the prepping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one sister and my mom.
Oh, okay. Your
That's
dad's not
about
around
it.
anymore? No.
No.
Yeah. Too bad you can't get them out of there. That would be
Yeah,
amazing if you could do that.
It is. Yeah.
All right, so let's move forward. I know it's I want to just talk about this year because you had a good year. I mean, you won two major shows, the New York Pro and the Pittsburgh. Obviously, in front of the judges that will be judging you at the Olympia. You got a lot of very good feedback from me. Chris Aceto thinks that you can win the Olympia.
Chris,
a lot of people.
When Chris came to me backstage, man, it brought sort of fire in me. Like when he said, "You're gonna win Olympia." Chris don't say this to everyone.
No, he doesn't say it to anyone.
He don't just walk to everyone. He came to me backstage.
No.
He's like, "You're gonna win Olympia, my friend." I was like, "Wow." Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got a very good look, and I think when I see, it's funny because you have legs too. A lot of these men's physique guys don't have legs. You got legs, you got calves, you get the whole package going on there.
Yeah. So no, I really made like the whole thing, improved. Like I had a lot of weak points, and it's very difficult to improve because everyone else is also working. Everyone is also at the same time. Everyone is also improving. So you really need to work double as hard as your competitors are doing it to really improve and to bring a better package next year. So yeah.
Do you ever think about maybe doing classing physique or no?
I think I'm too short for that.
How old are you now?
I'm 29.
Okay, so you're still young enough to do it for sure.
But I'm short. No, I'm 5'9" for classic. Yeah, I don't think it's.
Aaron's rough and short too. He's doing good.
How good is he? How tall is he?
I don't think he's. How tall are you?
5'9".
Oh, he's way shorter than you. 5'9's not that short. You can do it. Well, win the Olympia in men's physique first, then you can talk.
I want to do men's physique. I have the hair, I have the whole thing going on.
You do have the hair. I always say you got to have a good haircut if you want to win men's physique.
Someone just asked me like, why do you compare yourself with like straight away with Ryan Jetty? Like what about Brendan and Ebanks? I'm like, they don't get the hair.
My friend Doug Wentz, he's always said it best. You can't beat a great haircut, and so he's right.
Exactly.
He's right. You're right.
I'm kidding, but
so what's next for you? Are you going to be doing the Olympia? That's it. Okay.
Yeah, we going straight to Vegas. I'm now in the PCT fast. I just got my blood work done.
Right.
So everything looks real.
You're in what we call the Nutella phase right now. That's
exactly. You can see that. Because I sent George pictures like a week after Olympia, because he told a week after New York. I mean, so he told me when he saw the picture, he was like, "God, man, you're in a good shape." He said, "Bro, you need to get out of shape to get in shape." I was like, "Okay,
you don't get out of shape."
Man, I get straight home, and I'm like, "Okay, let's eat."
Yeah, but you don't get out of shape, so it doesn't even matter. You could probably eat McDonald's every day.
I can eat so much every day, and I'm still in good shape. I'm really grateful for that. But I don't have to gain weight or anything, so I don't have to do these crazy cycles or anything, and I don't have to be on the limit. But I was still like, how much? I think I was 85, so I still had like 7 kilograms to go. That's like 40 pounds something, to go to my limit. But I'm like, I think I'm good with how the looked, so I don't care.
You're very well balanced. Very well balanced. So
yeah,
I don't think you have to do anything. Just show up like that, man. You win. Hey, you know what? I want to thank you. Is that what Steve Weber said? Then listen to him.
I asked Steve. I asked Steve. I was like, "What should I do backstage?" After the show, he said, "Don't change a thing." Like,
he's right. He's right. You don't need to change anything. I want to thank you, number one, for being so forthright and honest and sharing your story with us, because I know sometimes it's hard to share where you came from. I want to congratulate you on all your victories, and I want to wish you the best of luck for the upcoming Olympia.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you for taking time.
It was really good talking to you, and I hope to talk to you after the Olympia with the win.
I hope I'll be interviewing you as the winner. Yeah.
I hope so too. Good talking.
All right, guys, that's going to take us to the end of another episode. You would like to thank anyone out there?
I would like to thank my coach, Josh Farah, of course, and my wife for learning English, and for all the fans out there. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting me and believing in me. Thank you. And Dave, thank you for interviewing me.
I'm going to give you one question.
I don't think you interview a lot of men's physique guys.
No, I've gotten all the top guys over the years, but you definitely earned it. I will tell you one thing. Your wife taught you English. She didn't learn you English.
Taught me English. Good.
Now
you taught me.
That's the right way.
The sentence,
My father was an English teacher for 35 years. He corrected me my whole life. All he did was correct my English. So exactly. I'm correcting you.
I never mind that.
I know. I'm breaking your job.
I really appreciate that. So
breaking your jobs.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, guys. That's going to take us to the end of another episode of RX Muscle Spotlight. I'm Dave Palumbo with Ali Bilal. We'll see you next time.